The meeting, please.
So made.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I have no comments for tonight, so we'll move on from that. Item number 2, of a continued public hearing will be held on petition of applicant Project Expeditors Consulting Company, care of Andy Fitz, 28 Station Street, Manalapan, New Jersey, on behalf of the property owner, Papadoza Properties, if I pronounced that improperly, I'm sorry. 701.
No, just his mic.
Oh.
It's not picking
My mic's not picking up? Hello?
There it is, you just gotta get
Okay,
close.
I'm sorry.
Could you repeat that?
Papantoniadis Properties, excuse me if I'm not pronouncing that properly, 701 Gay Street, Westwood, Mass. For site plan review under section 10.6.2 for the proposed Chase Bank. The applicant proposes to renovate and retrofit the existing building into a new bank branch with a drive-through ATM. The renovations include a building enhancements and parking lot lighting and landscape improvements. A special permit under section 3.1.4.D.5 to allow a drive-through for the proposed Chase Bank is also requested. The project is located at 386 Washington Street, Assessors Map 56, Lot 12, in GB General Business Zoning District. Mr. Roth, can we get an update on this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. At the last meeting, we had engineering and planning had a few issues of revising the plans. We've met with the applicant, and they've revised the plans. If you want, I can pull the plan up.
Yes, please.
So some of the revisions that we had were looking at cutting back against the, and I can zoom in, these are kind of tough to look at. There were engineering comments about predominantly in this area where it gets on Central Street to look at pulling back a little bit, adding some green space. And adjacent to the building, it was all striped asphalt. We've requested that they look at doing additional landscaping. And then they had just a small striped area. And that's, I will zoom in, that's right on this area right in here. They pulled back, so there's a little more throat distance. They have the spaces. And then, so they've really addressed everything. The landscaping, I wanted revised, and they have revised that. So therefore, we're recommending approval that they've met all of the technical memo criteria. So I'm available to answer any questions. And one of the things that I actually like is they've actually, the dumpster enclosure is a masonry dumpster enclosure with the similar and compatible material to the building. So I think that really will blend in really well. And I like to encourage that whenever there's a building that has, like a stucco type material. So it'll just look, and it's much sturdier. So those are just some of the highlights. The applicant, revised just about everything we wanted, and I think did a really good job addressing our comments and the board's comments.
Wasn't there a comment about the connecting sidewalk? Were we supposed to pick up something along Central Street?
Yeah, that was addressed in the conditions, in the response letter.
Right, but I just wanted to see how it was addressed on the drawing. So so right now, we only have, is the sidewalk continuous now, or is it just stopping right there?
The sidewalk,
So we just have the existing sidewalk that's on Central and Washington Street, so are they not? Let me just open this up for a second. So they're not touching anything in the road layout, I guess is what I'm asking.
No,
What's on the
I
road
don't,
layout is staying.
I don't believe they are.
And then the other thing, I thought we were going to cut down the opening that was on Central Street. That was actually one of the things Craig had talked about at one point. In other words, the road's too open.
We discussed that, and then when we met, there was an issue regarding turning, felt regarding turning radius in relation to backup and stacking in this ATM. So Craig felt that was fine.
So the ATM is going to be just against the building.
Correct.
And then,
I think one of the engineers is on, that they can ask, you can ask,
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
how you doing? Just on the access drive, I know one of the things we discussed the last time was narrowing up the opening along Central Street, and it doesn't seem to me that that's happening. It still seems like we have a pretty wide opening in that area. I'm just wondering how we're going to control that traffic in and out and how that stack is going to happen in that area. Sorry if you couldn't hear me. My mic might not have been close enough.
Giovanni, could you hear the question? Giovanni, could you hear the question?
Towards the end, it trickled off. I heard,
So what I'm questioning is the opening that's on Central Street. We were talking about closing that opening down, and it doesn't appear that that's happened at this point. I'm just asking the question on why.
And, Mr. Chairman, Craig will be up here in just a moment.
Okay. Because the way I'm looking at this drawing is we have an opening on the inside that's almost probably big enough for 2 cars, and then the traffic flow going around the building seems to, could be an issue at that point. I'm just trying to make sure where we're at.
The measuring it as 43 feet.
Yeah, which 43 feet is double the width of a car.
Cars going in, cars going out.
No, but it's not the way the drawings are shown, though.
Okay.
Not the way it's drawn. Hi, Craig.
Hi, good evening. That's loud.
So it appears that the inside of the inbound traffic into the site, that width of that opening seems to be very wide as to what we would normally require or normally have. It's oversized. What's the reason for that?
Yeah, so my understanding is as traffic would be coming in from Central Street, for them to make that turn around the site, they need a bit of a wider opening to do that. So traveling from west to east, so if you're on the close side, you're almost making a U-turn.
You're basically making a U-turn.
Right. So there's an extra width that you need to do that.
It just looks on the drawing that if you look at the Washington Street side, it says, that's a 20, okay. I got you.
Yeah, but when you come in on Washington Street, you're only turning 90 degrees, whereas when you come in from Central, you're turning 180, really. Yeah. So you need a bit more maneuver.
Is it anticipated that the people coming off of Central Street would be able to go right into the drive-through, or are they supposed to go all the way around the building to come into the drive-through? And how is that going to be controlled?
There really isn't any control. If there's no line in the drive-through, I would think that they could get right in there, but if there is a line, they'd have to go around.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, is because that could create a stack coming from the drive-through out onto Central Street if people wanted to wait
I
to
see
try
what
to
you're
get
saying.
into that line. I guess that's what was kind of confused. I didn't know whether they were leaving the double there to, okay, cars are going to go in the drive-through, but the way this is set up right now, the traffic flow is that you would, theoretically, you could go right into the drive-through, but if somebody wanted to wait, oh, there's only 2 cars, I'll sit here and wait, and then you're going to get a possible stack-up coming onto Central Street.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Right, and that's why I thought that when we talked about the last meeting, we were going to close that down, that wasn't going to happen. So when I see it the same size again, I'm just kind of wondering,
Yeah, I don't recall the desire to narrow that.
yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I remember actually looking at it and talking about it at that point last meeting. I could be wrong, but I do know we discussed it. I think the only thing I would ask then, if that has to be left like that for the traffic to get there, then some sort of barrier should be put coming into that drive-through so that people don't come in there and they physically have to drive around to get into the drive-through.
Yeah, I think maybe they can add like a
Curb,
rumble
a
strip
curb
or
or
something, yeah.
some sort of, it doesn't even have to be a planting strip, but some sort of a strip in that area so that cars coming in from Central Street physically can't get to there, so it doesn't create that stack.
Like what they have at the mobile station on Central Street, there's like a,
The rumble strip,
Little
yeah.
mini
I think it should be
island.
something that's,
More pronounced than that
it's,
even.
yeah, it's visible, but it's mountable,
Right,
because we don't want to have larger vehicles getting stuck over there, yeah.
okay.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
So if we can add that, the other things I don't have, and everything else I think is okay, but,
Would they have to put a sign saying drive-through? In other words, force them to go through around the
yeah,
building?
I think they should probably put a sign right there that says drive through this direction. Maybe add a couple of directional signs there and say drive through, and then have them go around to get back to the drive through.
there should be some sort of a sign there too, because that's going to be very low, and if it snows, a plow's just going to whack that thing.
So I would think a sign that says drive-through entrance with an arrow pointing
Yeah, and then they
back
would need
west
one at the.
on that column.
Right.
So there's a column for that canopy there, they could mount it right, so that people know that they just cannot
Yeah, say drive
enter
through
right
around
there.
building or something, or must go around building.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, because I can see, not that banks get a lot, it's not like it's a fast food thing, but just, you don't want to have an issue.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, that's a tough corner to maneuver anyway.
It is.
It's a very, very tough.
It's a nightmare.
The only comment I have about the drive-through, my experience, like I go to Harbor One, I don't see a lot of cars stacking up for the drive-through. If they had an ATM machine built into the drive-through, then you'd see some cars stacking up, but you don't see it like 5-10 years ago.
Right. I'm just
No,
trying to nip
I
something in the
understand
bud,
what you're
that's all.
saying.
Yep.
So that exit onto Washington Street is a right turn only, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And it's going to be marked that way.
it is, yes.
You'd wait for a long time to be able to cross all the way across anyway.
Oh, I know, it's going to,
Yeah.
well, they'll pull out in the middle to stop the traffic, and then,
Well, what's worse is when you pull out there, if people are coming on Washington heading south and then taking the left
I know,
onto Central,
right.
that's a quick light.
All right, so, are there any other comments on the board?
I was reading quickly about the signage on the building, and I wasn't quite clear on that.
I've just indicated, because if you know, there's like that tower.
Yeah.
And I feel, and they've addressed it too, and that the engineers are typically, they're just trying to get the site plan approved. And then, in my career, I see as the sign company comes in and they want all the signs, and they're like, oh, well, you need a variance or you need a special permit. Well, I'm giving them a heads up that we only allow the freestanding sign and one wall sign. We only allow 2 signs, and it appears that they are going to want signage on both sides of that tower. I'm just kind of giving them a heads up that, don't wait till the last minute, guys. Submit for a, signs for a special permit if you want to get that 3rd sign. It's not really dependent on the site plan. It's just kind of giving them a heads up.
Yeah, it's a
Right,
special.
well, the reason I asked the question is, we just went through this with Citizen Bank.
Right.
All right, and what I did was I actually Googled that area, and I see Eastern Bank has it on 3 sides.
Yeah.
If you look at Harbor One, they have it on two sides plus the post, but they also have their logo on the third side
Yeah.
of the building. If you go down Bank of America, they actually have it on three sides. So,
Maybe we should change the code.
exactly.
Okay. Jack, the building commissioner and I have had a discussion. We have a lot of red notes in our zoning bylaw on what we want to change.
No, I don't have an issue with them coming before
Yeah.
asking for permission, but
Yeah.
again, if they're going to start building, redoing this building or whatever,
Yeah.
cleaning it up, and which would be a pleasant thing for it to happen, they might as well get their signs all done at the same time.
Right. Well, they've been warned. They know they need it. I think that's separate. I think the engineer can address this. That's probably for Chase Bank is a separate. They're hired to do the site plan and everything. I'm giving them, telling them, warning them, please come in for your special permit for your signs because it appears you're going to want a third sign.
Exactly.
So that's all. You can only tell them, so many times. So the engineer and the architect probably don't have much to do with signs. It's usually Chase Corporate has their own sign folks and their whole sign plan that they want to do, and hopefully the architect and the engineer that are on the call have heeded the warning and let the powers that be know that, because they want to get started on renovating this. So it's like, you need to get that sign special permit in. I imagine that'll be submitted, hopefully. They can do it while it's being constructed,
Okay. That's
renovated.
fine. Okay.
It's not necessary for tonight. And Mr. Chairman, if you want, we could easily add a condition regarding Craig and I can craft it, regarding a rumble strip that comes back from the
The
drive-through.
rumble strip and the signage, if we get both of those
Okay.
into the
So-
decision, I don't have an issue with it.
So,
Okay, anybody else have any comments? All right, if I could get a motion from somebody on the board that we would close this hearing, I'd appreciate it. Oh, sorry, is there anybody in the public that wants to comment? I don't see anybody. There's nobody else on, right?
yeah.
No.
I don't know, Giovanni, did you want to talk about the kind of that rumble strip to delineate, to try to stop a backing up into Central Street?
Or the driveway area, along with the associated signage on the drive-through ATM, the canopy column right there?
Right.
Understood.
Can you see?
A rumble strip should be fine. It just can't be raised, just to make sure that, plows don't catch onto it. And the associated signage on the column shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. So.
I got one other question that I thought about is, I don't see on the plan, maybe I'm just missing it, is where they're going to store, if we ever get snow.
No storage. Snow storage will be driven around the landscape areas around the perimeter of the site.
Probably in
Bigger snowstorms, and accumulations, those would likely need to be hauled off.
Does that need to be stated on the plan?
We can add a note to cover that, yeah.
And I'd probably add the notes about the landscaping areas for having snow storage, and then, yeah.
Yeah, because if they start putting snow on top of all the plants, it's going to kill the plants.
Understood, yeah. We can make sure to add that note to our plans.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay. Can we get a motion from the board to accept the changes that Chase has put through at this time and to direct our town planner to put together Well, first off, we need to close the hearing. I'm sorry.
I make a motion, we close the hearing,
Second.
All in favor?
public hearing.
Aye.
All right, then, Bill, if you could come up with a order of conditions for the next meeting, based upon what we've had.
I'll prepare a set of findings and conditions, and I will add the rumble strip.
And signage.
Signage and snow removal notes. And one of the things, if between now and then they revise the plan, then I can just make it approval of the plan.
That's fine. If the plan, we can get the plan, because I'd rather sign the plan that has all the changes
Yeah.
on it. So if we can get that, I mean, that's not that much changes for the next 2 weeks. You should be able to get
Yeah.
a set of drawings.
So we can work with the engineer on that.
Okay.
Very, very simple changes. So, thank you.
Okay. On to the next item. They're all set? Anything else? We don't need to vote anything at this point. To close the hearing, that's all we need at this point in time. Yeah. Okay. All right, next item, general business. We have a set of meeting minutes from January 25th for review.
Mr. Chair, I reviewed, I have no comments.
I have no comments.
No comments.
I have no comment. Karen, thank you very much. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Not on the agenda, but at the end of your packet, I've given you the 20th, the Citizens Planning Training Collaborative, the annual conference is March 16th at Holy Cross. I sent an email if anyone was interested. I know Mr. Murphy's interested in going. If there's anyone else is interested, I'd kind of need to know so I can, beginning of next week, register folks.
Did any of you guys go last year?
I went last year, yes.
Was it any good?
It's very informative. They usually have good.
And they also, if you go on their website, they offer different training courses, and I think they're like 20, or their webinars 20 or 30, or they're not that expensive. If any board member goes on it and they see any training they want, they just need to let me know. We can sign you up, and then we have a budget to pay for that.
Okay.
So just to let you know. So if by maybe Monday, if any, and I don't know if anyone wants to go, I know Mr. Murphy wants to go to the CTPC March conference, let me know so I can then get that going.
I didn't see a start time or anything on that. Did I miss that?
Usually an all-day thing like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually, this is,
Yeah, it says,
yeah. I think it usually starts around 8:30.
Okay.
You get a continental breakfast and lunch, so,
And you get to meet people all over the state.
yeah.
Okay.
I sat with a bunch of people from Nantucket.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the biggest comment was they went to IKEA's before they went
I
to
can't
the...
hear you.
You need to,
You can you end up sitting with people from all over the state. I happen to sit at a table with people from Nantucket, and their biggest claim was they went to IKEA first, overnighted somewhere here, and then went to Holy Cross in the morning.
so they already are in Stoughton and Avon.
Right, right. But I also sat with a woman who was she looked about 18. She was a city planner for the town of Pittsfield.
Right.
And I sat with her for one session. So it's very, very diverse in terms of who's there and the courses they offer, and you can pick and choose.
Okay. Thank you.
it's a very interesting day to go. I went for a couple of years straight, and saw a lot of different courses there, so it's good.
I could use the education.
Awesome. Anything else? Can I have a motion to close?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.